It's a definite question I've been asked nearly every time, and one journalist, when we were outreaching to them, actually thought it was a joke. So it's definitely probably not the most ideal time, but I think that's what we as founders try and do. You know, we try to do things that seem maybe a little bit impossible, or maybe not the usual way of doing things. But yeah, as we sort of have seen it, we've used Corona, you know, as brutal as it's been, and you know, it's been a very, very tough time, not only for us but the entire industry. And we've actually used the time to innovate, put our head down, and the German market was always one we wanted to go for, but never kind of made the time or put the focus on it. And you know, with operationally not being as probably busy as we'd been in the past, we saw it as a really good opportunity to retool the platform, and then actually allow us to go after our localization, you know, dreams and aspirations, with German being the first one that we go for. It's always been on the cards, and I think it's just brought it forward. So, you know, we definitely 2020 we wanted to go into it, but I think the prioritization and effort that we put into to deliver this. I mean, we've basically rolled out an entire retool platform for, you know, any language in 7 months. And that's on Kurzarbeit, you know, working time as well. So the team have done a kind of monumental effort. And I think, you know, maybe if things had been normal, whatever that is these days, then, you know, maybe it might have taken longer to actually get through, because we would have been putting more priority on probably other areas of the business before this. But it just allowed us to focus a little bit more. Yeah, so I think it comes down to, again, focus and also opportunity. So if I look at how, I mean, our main markets until today have been the US, Australia, Canada, and the UK. So they're source markets. And if we look at, you know, our market share in those markets, it's still very, very, very small. And so we kind of felt, well, you know, we are effectively a global platform, and so we were able to go into other markets and other regions, but the whole language and definite localization was something that we just hadn't tackled. And so we just felt that, you know, if we tried to do it too early, it might distract us too much, and we still were growing very, very fast in our core markets. And I think, yeah, it was just a matter of time, and yeah, just making that decision to go, yep, let's just do it and focus on it. Yeah, I mean, it's how to define how hard it's been. I think it's, yeah, everyone's felt similar pain. I think, you know, very tough decisions needed to be made many, many times over, sometimes hourly in the beginning. But it's definitely, again, and I'll sort of highlight this focus, or just it's given us a bit of clarity on where we need to be putting our efforts, and what's going to be, you know, what is going to bring us outside or out of this crisis and come out stronger. For sure, you know, sadly, we are seeing a lot of businesses that are, you know, existentially affected by this crisis, and that obviously does leave some room for opportunity in the longer run. And I think that's where we've looked at and said, well, okay, what are the things we need to be working on now to make sure that we come out of this and the platform is strong, that we've built the products that we wanted to, we've onboarded the necessary supply, or we've, you know, updated the CS, customer support processes to handle things better. But so we've just had our head down to say, okay, how do we get ourselves ready for whenever that, you know, uplift is going to happen? Whether it's mid next year, end of next year, we don't know. I think there's positive signals from, you know, the last week or so around the 2 vaccines that have been announced. We don't know what that means exactly, but it does definitely give us hope. But we've been focusing on not only the German launch, but we've also been seeing a lot more requests for people wanting to travel in like their travel bubble, so to speak. So where they say, look, I want with my family, or maybe two families, or a group of friends who have been seeing each other regularly during the Corona time, and they still want to travel. And they don't want to necessarily be with other people from all parts of the world. They just want to do it on their own. So we've been focusing quite a bit on the private side of things and customizing of tours, because a lot of our suppliers do offer this. We just haven't really provided that functionality on the site. So really been working on that, doing lots of A/B testing. So yeah, it's been as tough as it's been. There has been some glimmering, shining lights in there as well. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we've seen, through highlighting of what does a cancellation mean? How do you cancel? What does it mean for getting my money back or getting a refund or credit? It's how is the tour operator handling hygiene? How are they doing testing before the tour or after the tour? So it's all these things, and we've been interviewing a lot of the customers, doing surveys, and then just bringing that data, and actually then trying to update the user experience, or talk to our tour operators to sort of say this is what the customers are looking for, so that they can kind of also not only from they're obviously hearing things firsthand as well, but because we aggregate 2,500 different tour operators from all over the world, we get to see a lot of the different ways people are handling this crisis, and what they're doing that's working. So that's been we've been trying to offer assistance through our business development team to our tour operators to also try and help them through the crisis too. Yeah, it's I wouldn't say the $1 million question. I think it's the $1 billion question to sort of answer that. It's really the crystal ball. Everyone's trying to predict it. I think it's when will the consumers get confidence again, and is that a vaccine? Is it fast testing? Is it the airlines putting these things in place? And also the tour operators too, that give people this confidence. We see at TourRadar that people book typically quite advanced before they actually travel. So we see a lot of people booking 2021 now. But where we actually do see, my sort of prediction or thought is that around mid next year, we'll start to see people booking a lot more. And that's not traveling, that's booking. I think it's going to be quite soft until then, just because we've got to work through a lot of things, especially like the second wave and everything. So my feeling is booking will start to happen towards mid next year for our type of product anyway. And that, towards the end of next year, we'll start to see people traveling, and then into 2022. You'd hope so. And I mean, actually, that's been a really good thing that the crisis has brought out, is the flexible booking conditions. I think that was something that our industry hadn't really adapted yet to. And as we saw, we needed to provide more flexible options to give the consumers confidence that if they book something for, let's say, April 2021, that they can actually change that, and they don't have to pay a fee, or they don't, get it cancelled or something like that. So the tour operator innovated as during this time, as we've seen with the airlines and different things like that. So again, it's again brutal, but there has been some positives that, let's see how they get, as we come out of or start to live with this in a better way, that, how things will stay and what will actually, change for good. So. Yeah, it's we haven't actually defined it yet. So the way we look at different markets are, what are the different signals from, obviously Google's a big source of information of what search volume and demand and different things like that. But also we do sort of qualitative research. So at the moment, I don't have an exact one. I know there's some of our workers here who are from Portugal who are pushing for Portuguese. Some are pushing for French, and some are pushing for Italian and Spanish. So who knows? We'll see.